Well, joining us now for a discussion on the renewed killings across the country, especially in Kwara and Katsina states, we have Salihu Dantata. He's a security expert. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight.
Very pleasant evening to you all.
Yeah, so in the last couple of weeks, Nigeria has faced, insurgency, terrorism attacks that seem to be on the rise. We're looking at Kwara State that's become, the epicenter of the latest developments. First off, what's your understanding of government's overall response to what is happening now? We have Operation Savannah Shield declared by the armed forces. How effective or how can this actually be strengthened in a way that can, address the rising insecurity in the region?
You see, starting from the federal government, that particular arena and axis has just exited from Mahmuda terrorist invasion. Don't forget, that was the same local government joined by Baruta local government where the Mahmuda terrorists had threatened for them not to go to farm in the farming season until steps were taken, just the way His Excellency Abdurazak Abdurrahman and other well-wishers who displayed their ownership involvement, because the issues most of the inhabitants of Kayama and Baruta local government are aware of their citizens' role as well as ownership involvement role, because as it was happening, they already started transmitting the information. Unfortunately, rescue did not come until a lot of people were massacred. Even the figure government is trying to give now is beyond that. As I speak to you, before I got into the Transcorp here, they told me they had casualty rising up to 300. Wow. They were still performing their janaiza, that is the Islamic burial rites, and also for that, because I was communicating directly with the inhabitants in Woro, because when it happened, they called, even though there were negligence at their part too, and the skeletal military officers that were there, because they said there were about 30 soldiers that were in that community. And these non-state actors came, they grouped in the primary school, they even saw them with guns. So neither the inhabitants nor the security forces that had only 30 people there could give information, because proximity between Woro to Kanji, where you have air weapon school, as well as 221, as well as 101 battalion, is like 3 hours journey, even though there is dilapidated nature of the road. The major constraint in that area is bad road network, because from Wawa to Woro is about 40-something kilometers. Right. But for you to get there, you spend up to 3 hours. Then leaving Wawa to Kama, you end up spending 5 or 6 hours. Even if you are in an SUV, potholes are up to this, and it is close to abandoned wildlife. These are basically ungoverned areas. But the other negligence at the part of government is also what happened to the earlier intelligence officers posted who succeeded in arresting Mahmuda leader in Wawa. Wawa is close to Woro. They already had this privileged information. This Papiri, this Kaswandaji, they are all close. It is the border between Kwara and Niger State, and you transit from there also to Kebbi and Sokoto State. Already the intelligence reports are there that these fleeing Lakura terrorists, fleeing bandits, might have solace in the abandoned wildlife forest. Just between Mokwa to Ibi, that was where Mr. Niworu Ibrahim was kidnapped, a former commissioner in Niger State, as well as Barrister Ahmed, a serving INEC commissioner in Niger State. Till date, to no avail. The bandits will call and say, give us card, even after the payment of 40 million naira ransom. So in the whole, from Kanji, Wawa and others, even with the presence of Air Weapon School, 101 Battalion, let me tell you one ironic thing. Right. The issues are, they said these same non-state actors, whether ISWAP or what have you, had written to the locals that they were coming. Just the same way they wrote to Kemanji, but fear. They even came with a perception of a kind of inimical preaching, which they never key into. Then some of the community members said there is a particular dialect which belongs to Babana area. They call it Boko dialect that they were speaking. Some of them were also, it means there was a kind of collaboration and conspiracy between them and some inhabitants that are neighboring villages to that particular Waro village. So at its stance, without rehabilitating the roads from Wawa to Kayama, no matter what onslaught, even the operational vehicles, the gun trucks of the army will have, because if you move in force before you go and carry out this onslaught, they might have escaped through motorcycles.
Right. Okay. All right, let me ask you, because what you paint a very disturbing picture. Apart from the bad roads, which hinders quick response time, from what I hear you say, do you think there's perhaps also complicity or compromises within the security forces? And I'm bringing this up because in Kebbi last year, we saw the situation where soldiers were allegedly withdrawn before students, female students, were abducted. In this Kwara incident, we're told that by the community leader, the information came, you've highlighted that. They wrote to the community that they were coming, yet this incident still happens. So now that we have found ourselves in this situation of bad roads, but we do have this intelligence, then something is obviously wrong. And on the other hand, with heightened insecurity last year, we saw so many directives from President Bola Tinubu, including forest guards and the takeover of all forests by security forces. So where did the alleged jihadists come from this time around? What are we, do we even understand what we're dealing with? Is the bottom line of my question.
You see, let me open up this to you. That entire region, the security forces there only do what you call big man protective measures. The only time you see their seriousness is maybe when governor is coming or they are summoned by anyone. Severally, when I visit those areas, you freely see the army personnel collecting token from every transiting commercial vehicle. And what is their manpower? Even aftermath of the Mahmuda terrorist invasion, you can't find a full-fledged battalion in Kayama nor the villages. Aftermath of robbery, they established Mopo Squadron. So what you need in these areas is establishment of permanent mobile police squadrons or cantonment of the land army or air force base. No matter what special squad you take in terms of Savannah, what have you, you can see Operation Fansanyama, Adenkai, they are gathering momentum. But the presence of 7th Division in Maiduguri, Theater Commands, and the Joint Task Force is also assisting that particular Operation Hadenkai. So that of Kwara should go beyond just Operation Savannah, this and that. They should go by establishing permanent security structures, because most of these areas are ungoverned areas. Let me also tell you one dilapidated thing.
Yes.
You go to Kosobosu, to Chikanda, then they are neighboring towns to Benin Republic. If you even go to the exit and entry point, nothing to write home about.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Salihu Dantata, security expert, thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight.